Live, local, late breaking. This is 4029 News at 4.
Thanks for watching 4029 News at 4. I'm Brandon Evans.
And I'm Chip Scarborough. We begin with 4 things to know.
That's right. President Trump fired the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics after Friday's unfavorable jobs report. He says a new hire could come soon.
Democratic lawmakers in Texas left the state. The legislature failed to establish quorum today. It's part of a last-ditch effort for Republicans stopping from changing the state's congressional map.
And an all-out manhunt continues for an Army veteran suspected of killing 4 people at a Montana bar on Friday. Officials are offering a $7,500 reward for information that leads them to Michael Paul Brown.
Officials with Fayetteville schools are preparing for students to return. They're introducing new security measures this fall aimed at keeping kids safe.
And as we take a live look outside, after enjoying some cooler weather this weekend, summer soon returns. Darby, just how warm could it get? We're following breaking news. The suspect accused of killing a mother and father hiking with their 2 daughters at Devil's Den State Park has a new court date. Andrew McGann's going to face a judge next Thursday, August 14th. Now, McGann's next day in court was originally set for August 25th.
He's charged in connection with the deaths of Clinton and Kristen Brink back on July 26. McGann faces 2 counts of capital murder. He could receive the death penalty if convicted, Brandon.
And in more breaking news, Chip, in Arkansas, a man's going to spend the rest of his life in prison after killing 4 people and hurting 10 others at a Fordyce grocery store. 45-year-old Travis Posey sentenced to 220 years today. Now, he pleaded guilty in that case. This was back in June.
The shooting happened at the Mad Butcher grocery store in Fordyce last summer. Prosecutors and police have not publicly identified a motive. The recent jobs report showed weaker than expected job growth over the summer. Experts say it could cause the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates in September. The Labor Department reports just 73,000 jobs were added last month. It also revised jobs for May and June downwards by 258,000.
Yeah, the unemployment rate also inched upward slightly to 4.2%. Analysts say it would have been more if it weren't for a dip in the labor participation rate. Now, economists predict the U.S. could head toward stagflation in the second half of this year. That's when inflation and weak job growth happen at the same time. Now, the disappointing jobs report, it sent stocks tumbling last week. We're going to take a look at their recovery today. That'll be in just a few minutes.
For now, we turn to the continued economic uncertainty in our country. Experts warn the U.S. is on the precipice of a recession. The president's national economic advisor says those jobs numbers were slower than expected.
I think that one of the explanations for revisions is they have more complete data. And so I think it is likely that the revisions are a better read of the data if the data are not being manipulated. And so, yeah, I would say that it's a little bit weaker.
Meantime, tariffs affecting nearly every U.S. trading partner are set to take effect Friday. The president's executive order raises duties on nearly 70 countries. Experts say prices will likely rise on everything from electronics to produce and cars. Analysts say the policy breaks from decades of free trade and signals a new protectionist era for our country. Economists say the costs of these tariffs will likely be passed along to consumers.
And all countries will now face at least 10% tariffs. Others will face tariffs ranging from 15% to as high as 40%. Now, the president insists, though, that his tariffs are going to help the economy.
We want to go to a live look now from our nation's capital. President Trump fired the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics after the unfavorable jobs report. He claims that without evidence that Erica McIntyre rigged the numbers. President Trump says he will name a new commissioner in the next few days. And many experts are saying the reasons for the firing are baseless.
Reporter Brian Abel has the latest from the White House.
President Trump, Brian Abel reporting.
And we are watching Wall Street. We touched on it earlier. U.S. stocks rallied to recover most of their sharp losses from Friday's wipeout.
Take a closer look at your screen right now. It was a big day for the Dow, jumping 585 points. And take a look at this. The NASDAQ Composite followed suit, up more than 400 points. The S&P 500 gained 91 points.
Looking at our local stocks of interest, Walmart, Tyson, J.B. Hunt each joined in today's green celebration, as did ArcBest and Murphy USA. Dillard's, though, dropped 15 cents per share. Well, data shows more shoppers are buying generic brands.
And analysts point to concerns over rising costs due in part to the Trump administration's tariff policies. They say more Americans are also clipping coupons and buying in bulk. The Wall Street Journal reports families are also cutting back on dining out and vacationing.
All right, let's go overseas now for the latest on Gaza and the push for a ceasefire and hostage deal. The top U.S. envoy visited the territory last week. This was alongside former Arkansas governor and current U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. So, analysts saying that Israel and the U.S. appear to be abandoning ceasefire talks.
ABC News reports Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is pushing to expand the war in Gaza to get hostages out. This weekend, Hamas released video of a starving Israeli hostage. His family agreed for the media to show the painful images with the growing starvation in Gaza. Families of the hostages still being held in Gaza joined tens of thousands of people in a rally calling for their release. They say Netanyahu's plan risks their loved ones' lives.
We saw a human skeleton in this video. A human skeleton. As doctor says, Eviatar has few days to live.
Doctors have said this?
Yes, and we must bring him sufficient food, proper medical care as soon as possible to save his life.
International outrage over the widespread starvation in Gaza is growing. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry reports at least 180 people have died from starvation and malnutrition since the start of the war. 93 of them were children. Well, some parents are turning to ChatGPT to help their kids.
Yeah, Chip, when we come back, we're actually going to talk about one mother who says the AI tool, well, it's her child's third parent. Plus, the back-to-school shopping season is here. We'll tell you how you can save on some supplies. Your child gets ready for that upcoming school year.
And a live look outside now on this Monday afternoon as we wait for even warmer weather later this week. See how high temperatures climb ahead in our 7-day forecast here. But before we go, an early look ahead to tomorrow's forecast.
Let's bring in 4029 meteorologist Laura Huckabee.